Good morning. It is Friday. I'm actually off work today, which is why it's actually late enough to be light outside. But I'm running out to pick up a few things, so perfect time to record. I will probably be doing another video later in the day as well, since I'm at home, where I might actually do a screen share on my PC and talk about the spreadsheet that I've mentioned previously. But before we get to that, some things have changed since last week's filming and discussion on hotels and everything else. Some of this may not apply to everyone, but because it applied to our situation and it's possible someone else could run into the same issues, I figure it's worth talking about. Now, I think I mentioned previously that my wife is in a wheelchair. That does change some things for our booking. It adds an extra consideration that not everyone has to think about. Now, because of this, I didn't mention it before, but when we'd actually booked our rooms at Riverside, initially, we had been sent through to the US Disney office rather than the UK Disney office. Obviously, I don't sound like I'm from the UK, but that is where we live. To book our hotel, because the UK office cannot see all of the available rooms. They have an allocation. They did not have any rooms in their allocation, so they sent us through to the American office instead. Now, that ended up causing us some problems, because whenever we called back to book our flights and add the rest of the package, the UK office could not deal with that package. So we were then having issues with everything else. Now, they were great about it. Even though the person initially did give us wrong information, the first person did tell us that if we booked through the US site, the UK would still be able to book the rest of our package. That was wrong. You know, no one's perfect. I get that. They did everything in their power to make it right. They were really nice. They were apologetic. They were helpful. The US office actually, after explaining everything to us, called and spoke to the UK office for us so that we did not have to do so. And they actually managed to find us a disabled access room that was available to the UK office that was actually going to save us a bit of money. Now, it was not at Riverside. I've had people argue the pros and cons. Argue the pros and cons of what they've offered us. But we've actually spent less money than we would have to stay at Riverside. And we are now going to instead be staying in a cabin at Fort Wilderness. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with Fort Wilderness is a resort probably best known for hosting Mickey's Backyard Barbecue and the Hoop-de-Doo Music Review. It is famous for being the resort that has a lot of campsites as well. Now, we're not going to be camping. We're going to be staying in one of the cabins. Now, the cabin means that we have a cabin of our own, which has a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen. It's also got then a front porch area with a picnic table, a barbecue grill. All in all, what it means is we're getting a heck of a lot more space than we would have had in a hotel room at Riverside. We're getting a lot more space for less money. Now, addressing a few things that I've seen online. Fort Wilderness, people say you have to walk everywhere. and it's a long way, or you have to take a bus within the resort. This is true. I accept that. Now, in this regard, the fact that my wife is in a wheelchair bizarrely benefits us, because all of the accessible cabins are all at the front of a loop, and they tend to be on the loops nearest to the main building, which houses the restaurants and facilities and the main bus stops to go to the different parks. So what it means is that we will be much closer to the depot than most people staying in the cabins. Now, like I said, that is something that is an unintended benefit of the fact that we need that wheelchair access. So that takes away one of the major issues that people talk about this resort. Now, on the plus side of this resort, not only do we have the buses, but there is also a boat from the resort that docks at the Magic Kingdom. This means that if we want to, we can just literally hop up in the morning, boat straight there, and not have to worry about going around on the bus. Which I think, personally, will be much nicer. I look forward to that. Fort Wilderness also has a lot of stuff to do. I mean, seriously, a lot of stuff to do, even if you don't want to go to the parks. There's horseback riding, there's various games and activities, there's an archery class. You can go around and you can see where all of the horses that pull all of the parades in the Magic Kingdom, the carts and such, you can see where all of them are stabled. There is also, like I mentioned, the Hoop-de-Doo music review and Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, which, yes, they are 2-credit meals. They're also shows, they're entertainment. We went to the barbecue last time and it was a lot of fun. We had already said, even if we were staying at Riverside, we were definitely going back to the barbecue again this year. Now we're right there on site. They also do campfire sing-alongs on an evening with Chip and Dale. The other thing, which I kind of glossed over earlier, but which is a huge thing, is the fact that we now have a kitchen. The cabins have a kitchen and a barbecue. Now, why is this so huge? Because it means that we can pick up some stuff and we can cook. It means that if we don't want to go out to eat every night, we can throw something on the stove or on the grill and just have a lazy evening sat on our front porch having a steak or having whatever. That also means that it's going to change the way we use our dining plan. We are still having the dining plan, but what it means is that instead of having 14 nights and having 14 table service credits and having 14 table service meals, we're really looking into now things like the barbecue, the music review, the 2-credit meals. Because we're completely happy with the idea of having 7 2-credit table service meals and 7 nights where we throw something on the grill. And I'm pointing this out because this would also apply to anyone who is a DVC member, which is a topic that I'll get into in further in later videos. But a lot of the DVC cabins or suites or villas have a kitchen area. And if you don't mind using that area, if you plan to make use of it, it changes your planning. Because it gives you more freedom to spend credits outside of the norm. It means that you can then focus in on things that cost more credits or even more money in a single meal, because even if you're not going with the dining plan, even if you're paying for your meals, if you normally budget $50 a meal, and all of a sudden you figure out, well, we can actually cook for ourselves every other night, then that means you can spend $100 a meal. You can go a lot nicer places, still in the same budget. So that's definitely something to consider, is the idea of if the cabin or the suite or the villa structure of having that kitchen changes your perception of your budget and of your planning. Definitely think about how that affects you. So there we are. That's the video on what's changed in my planning for the upcoming trip. We will now be spending 2 weeks in September at Fort Wilderness in a lovely cabin of our own. I'll be back shortly, probably with another video. I'll probably be going into the spreadsheet, the planning that we've done already, and what planning will be coming in the future. Like, subscribe. I'll be doing new Disney planning videos every Friday. The rest of the week, if you're interested, I will be continuing with my role-playing games series. Monday and Tuesday are the intro and recap for my weekly currently Changeling game. Wednesday and Thursday are my thoughts on various role-playing topics that pop into my head from time to time. Enjoy, have a great weekend. I will see you soon. I will be posting more today, so keep looking out for that. And until then, enjoy.